Hi everybody, this is Ashraf Yasmin, Associate Professor, CS Department. I'm taking a database management system. The subject code is CS3492. First is we define about the DBMS architecture, database architecture. This architecture consists of all the activities of database system. The database system has a good understanding of enterprise information resources and needs. Okay, so what is architecture? Basically, it's the access methods definition and granting user authority to access the database, monitoring the performance. So everything comes under this database administrator. So it consists the following, or what are the managers, including this following components. Some of the components are there. So storage manager, authorization manager, transaction manager, file manager, buffer manager, and storage manager, right? So storage manager, it is only what it is module that provide the interface between the low levels data stores database and the application program and query submitted to the system. So the whole thing is managed by the storage manager. Okay, next is the storage manager is responsible for the following tasks. What are the following tasks is responsible is efficient storing, retrieving data, updating of a data, and interaction with the file manager. So these are the responsibilities of storage manager. Authorization manager, it checks whether the user is in the authorized person or not. So it tests the satisfaction of integrity constraints, everything done with this. And transaction manager is responsible for concurrent transaction executes and ensure that the database remains consistent state. Okay, despite of the system failure, despite of the system failure. So before that, he has to be handled all the transaction level. Okay, so this is a responsibility of transaction manager, and this is the database architecture which consists of the managers, DBA, database business administrator. So they handle all the responsibilities and the details about this architecture. Next is relational model. So relational model consists how widely around the world of data storage and processing, how it is consistent. There are some properties of a relational model. So tables, tuples, relation instance, relation schema, and relation scheme. So what is a table? Table is nothing but or saved in the format of tables, rows, and column spaces. Okay, restore a relation among entities. The table has rows and columns where rows represent the records and column represent the attributes. Okay. And the next second one is tuple. A tuple is a single row of table, the row of which contains a single record, and the relation is called tuple. So how the data is related? The row-wise data will be as called as a tuple. Okay, the relation instance. So the how they are connectivity together, data it connected together. Set of tuples in the relation database system represent the relation instance, and the relation instance have the duplicate tuples. So how to avoid it? So these are the relation instance. Okay, relation schema is nothing but describes the relation name, table name, attributes, and the names described about that. That is called schema. How the data is described with the name, with the attributes, and with the IDs. And another thing is relation key. So the key will be set for a row wise. It has one or more attributes known as relation keys, which can identify rows in the relation, and unique key items will be identified. Unique key data will be identified here. And next is the keys in the relation model. So how many types of keys in here in this primary key, candidate key, super key, foreign key, and composite key. So primary key is nothing but it uniquely identifies each tuples in a relation. It must contain unique values and not a null values. If it doesn't have any values, it considers as a null value. So the primary key not be suited for it. Next is candidate key. The candidate key is set of attributes that uniquely identify tuples in a relation. So tuple is nothing but row-wide data have the relation. At that time, the candidate key will be installed. Next is super key. The super key is a set of attributes that uniquely identify a tuple. And the foreign key is an attribute is one relation that refers to the primary key of another relation. Okay. So in table, many foreign key can be suited, but primary key for the one table, the primary key is set as once. And next is composite key. The composite key is formed by combining two or more attributes to uniquely identify the tuple. So tuple, again seeing this is a row-wise data. So how the data will be, how the key will be considered in the relational model. Okay, next is the example which shows that the overall attributes and overall schemas and tuple and primary key centered. So here the roll number, which is a unique key values, the primary key setter, the name, the differentiate C columns, phone number of the student and age. So these are the data will be stored. It is called relational model of student, the student database. And this all this attributes is comes under the degree, and the row-wise data is comes under the tuples called as a tuples. And next is these are the domains of the student. Okay, the roll number, name, city. These are the called as a domains. Okay, and this is the whole example of the roll number student example of the data, student data. And characteristics of relational model, what is data representation, atomic values, unique keys, attribute domains, data independent. So what's the data representation? How the data will be represented in the form of table, rows and columns, graphs, and diagrams. The data field which consists, so we can represent the data likewise. And second is atomic values. So the attributes in a table contain atomic values, meaning no multi-value or nested values, duplicate values is not enough. It is allowed as a single cells. Okay. So it is single cell. So that is called atomic value, single values. Multi-values is considered, be treated into a single value. Next, unique keys. Every table has a primary key to unique identify each record, ensuring no duplication rows should be considered. And second is attribute domain. Each attribute has a defined domain specifying the value data types and constraints for the values it can hold. And next is data independence. This model ensures a logical in physical data independence, allowing changes in the database schema without affecting the application layer. So independent, the data will be independent, how they are related together and connected together. So like this. And what are the characteristics of relational model? It is relational operation, data consistency, set-based representation. Relational operation is nothing but how it operations consist of selecting the data, projection of the data, joining, union and intersection, enabling powerful data retrievals, manipulation of data, all consist under the relational operation. What is the data consistency? Data consistency to the constraints, reduce redundancy and anomalies. That means a duplication of data will be reduced with the help of data consistency. Easily can identify and stack out. Next is set-based representation. Set-based tables, the relation model are treated as a sets and operations follow. Mathematical set theory principles will be all implemented in the set-based representation of relational model. Okay, so these are the relational model overview of, and we saw about the architecture and the key relations. What are the characteristics of relation model? Everything we have saw. So this is the part one. Thank you and thank you all.